It's all happening naturally. Our collective journey took 15 years. But look, we are here now. India has finally succeeded in creating a world that protects farmers, water, soil, and biodiversity, a world of sustainable natural farming and good health for all. My eyes are full of tears as I watch Prakriti address the World Economic Forum. Seeing her speak as the president of the National Federation of Farmers Collectives makes us all proud. Prakriti was the youngest amongst us when we started in 2021. Coming from a community of small farmers, she was fresh out of college when she joined the growing number of FPOs. Her energy and the energy of young women like her revived our resolve to fight and dream for naturally grown and nutritious food for all. We came together to change the course of agriculture and food in India. In 2021, this seemed like wishful thinking. The agrarian crisis had been worsening for decades with declining farmer income and water scarcity. Farmers, especially tribal, women, small, tenant and landless farmers, never got their fair share. Pest attacks were increasing and climate change was disrupting rainfall patterns. The lack of jobs and forced migration had heightened rural distress everywhere. Forests were being cut to give way to monocrop farms, and crop residue burning was polluting our air. Governments continued to subsidize the increased usage of agricultural inputs. Markets and fields were flooded with chemicals, degrading our water, soil, and affecting people's health. Groundwater was running out. We were trying to spread the natural farming movement in our own ways, but we were too small and scattered. Then 2020 and 2021 hit us like a cyclone. COVID tore through our communities, taking lives and leaving destitution and despair. This was the year when farmers came to the streets to protest. Those who had migrated to the cities were back in their villages in great distress. Indians were filled with anger, sorrow, fear, and anxiety. We needed a radical shift in our food and farming to avoid future disasters, and for that, the natural farming community needed to come together to make a difference. Even with Indians consuming food full of chemicals and our children's immunity being compromised every day, there was no collective movement for healthy and nutritious food. Farmers complained about being too low in the value chain, were unaware of alternatives to chemical-laden agriculture, and lacked the know-how to grow natural food. Even when they were willing to grow food naturally, lack of infrastructure, inputs, supply chains, and fair prices made it difficult for them. They could not be convinced to take risks, and neither could the banks that gave them loans. Without role models and field demonstrations, they continued farming as usual. It was important to educate the government about natural farming as a solution to rural distress, degrading public health and the environment. Agricultural scientists were skeptical of natural farming. Lack of investment in research on natural farming meant that we didn't have the evidence to influence the food system at scale. We needed to act urgently if we were to make India healthy and avoid the threat of climate change. And then we came together. We dreamt together. We agreed on 5 big shifts that needed to happen. And we found a way to make the shifts that needed to happen. Along the way, Prakriti and many others joined the movement to help us get to where we are. Raitu Sadhikara Samstha, RYSS, the semi-autonomous body set up by the Andhra Pradesh government, was working hard to promote natural farming in the state. It had converted almost 1 million farmers towards natural farming across the state by then. It deepened its work to cover the entire state. It was time to see that model in other states. We needed champions within government and civil society in other states like we had in Andhra Pradesh. Rajasthan, Bihar, Odisha, Maharashtra, Himachal Pradesh and Meghalaya showed interest, and they had champions within the state for building their own local models. Within 2 years, with commitments from philanthropists and others, technical support units were established in Rajasthan, Bihar, Odisha, Maharashtra, Meghalaya with the help of RYSS. These states adapted the programs to their situation. That's when Prakriti joined the movement, coming from a family of small farmers in Meghalaya. Prakriti was finishing college when she saw the potential for natural farming for her own family. She adopted it wholeheartedly on her family's land. Soon, she became a strong community resource person for the program. Prakriti never looked back until today in front of the world.
Within 5 years, these 5 host states turned into regional hubs, supporting their neighbors. Meghalaya became the regional hub for the northeast, Odisha for eastern India, and Rajasthan for the west. Today, natural farming is mainstream in all large states of India. Other countries are replicating this miracle with our support. We needed to move from anecdotal to scientific evidence. A series of new research was commissioned to show how natural farming was impacting the productivity of our land and water, nutrition in our food, and restoration of our ecosystems. It was important to recognize that farmers like me are custodians of knowledge. Through the natural farming community, I gained the confidence to motivate other farmers to change. I received training on how to use digital media and started my own social media channels. My channels garnered millions of subscribers like many other farmer influencers across the country. Many states launched demonstration sites for peer-to-peer learning of natural farming practices. I mentored many school and college students doing their fieldwork at these sites. The participatory extension coupled with digital platforms was showing promise. Community ownership of the research, knowledge, and learning was getting seeded. A much needed center for research and learning on natural farming was started in Andhra Pradesh in collaboration with Germany. Instead of being passive recipients of knowledge, we were empowered to generate knowledge on the field with scientific methods and exchange knowledge with researchers. This was also connected to the larger agriculture knowledge community with farmers co-authoring papers with scientists. The turning point came in 2027 when the central government established the National Institute of Natural Farming and mandated natural farming programs and departments across Indian Council of Agriculture Research. Today, top universities and research organizations are providing courses on natural farming. Farmers move between farms and labs and have become visiting faculties at universities. We learned, practiced, and reached here. The adoption of natural farming at scale had large positive impacts on climate change, water, and biodiversity, and many countries realize farmers have to be compensated for their contribution to our planetary crisis. A global ecosystem services market developed organically on the lines of carbon credits. Natural farming became an integral part of India's climate mitigation strategy. Today, policies across India and outside recognize and reward farmers as stewards of the land, water, and ecosystems. Support to farmers shifted from input subsidies to rewarding nutrition and ecosystem outcomes. Farm families, farm worker families, and communities receive payments for their ecosystem services. This has added to the farmers' prosperity and to the prestige of farmers and agriculture. The success of natural farming movement wouldn't have been possible without the emergence of a large-scale citizen movement, consumers hand in hand with farmers. The citizen movement started with natural farming farmers consuming natural foods for their families and in their villages. Needing to scale up quickly, a rapid communication strategy was deployed to create awareness for natural foods in both urban and rural areas. The natural farming community emphasized the health benefits of natural foods by comparing it to Amrit, a nectar for good health, which connected emotionally with people. Social media influencers, entertainment personalities, and religious leaders were roped in to spread the message. Thanks to our movement, a national consortium of large brands came together to create a new category called natural food. Natural food became widely recognized, affordable, trusted, and chosen label among every category of consumers. Products based on natural farming became the new cool thing in town. Many new companies and farmers' collectives were born to cater the demand. As part of a farmers' collective, I saw the opportunity to establish a direct-to-consumer service that provided raw and locally processed food products. We managed everything in-house, doing processing as well as marketing. Growing consumer demands allowed us to scale quickly. More collectives joined hands and we federated at higher levels, culminating in a national federation. Today, across the country, we provide services to farmers and employ youth in rural areas. The growing awareness of health benefits forced the politicians to integrate natural food with government schemes. It started with the procurement of locally grown natural food for Anganwadis and schools. Later, it was brought into community canteens in many states. Local production for local consumption created a virtuous economic cycle. Today, natural food is a norm in urban, rural, and tribal India. Most farmers in our villages are in natural farming. Many states have introduced local natural foods in their public distribution schemes, and the central government is considering making it national. Direct farmer-consumer links, shorter local value chains, farmers' collectives, and enterprises began to capture a fairer share of the value chains. The portfolio of farmers have diversified with natural farming-related businesses. The growing incomes and prosperity of the natural farming community made them bankable. Governments made policies in favor of lending to such farmers and businesses. These changes were slow to start with, but once the first generation of enterprises succeeded, new entrepreneurs emerged across the country. The rapid transformation of our food production consumption system was powered by our concern for nutrition, health, and climate change, and the response by our farmers, particularly women. This shifted the markets in our favor. To arrive at where we are now in 2035, we needed to dream and dream big in 2021. We needed to work together to find ways. We needed to find allies, states, and champions to push us along. And above all, we needed a fire in our bellies, the urgency to save our communities, societies, and the planet itself. We are not done yet. Our journey starts again, and I can't tell you how excited I am.